Hi, good evening everybody. Welcome to Blue and Gold Talk. This is a video on the channel. If you're new to my channel, that just throws random talk out there, guys, because that's where I'm at tonight. I'm watching this finals, guys, and it's not fun. But you know, I start thinking about what's the goal? What's the goal here? I'm watching this series, of course, and I'm cheering for Florida, and the goal is, it doesn't really matter. You know, I'm watching this series and I'm thinking, I'm sick of reporting every year at the end of the year on every game but Sabres games. And it's just one of those things that it's on my head. And I say, you know what, I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna talk to everybody and throw my thoughts out there, guys. I like to do this once in a while where it's just a random thing. I wasn't planning on doing any videos. I was wrapped up in this game and I'm saying the hell with it. The hell with it. I don't really care. It's 4-0 right now. It's stupid. And I'm watching this and you know, the naysayers, right? The people that doubts our franchise for how long, you know, are some of these fan bases. Let's face it, they are. Some of these fan bases I'm cheering for have taken cheap shots at our franchise for years. And I don't really care what happens. Like, I just don't. Because the only thing I care about, guys, is these guys. The rest of the league, I just don't give a damn. I don't care. It's why, guys, when I had a vision for this channel, I know, okay, and I don't think I don't know. I know if I started a channel and I discussed 32 teams, how much bigger my channel would be now. I do know that. I do realize that. But the truth is, it just wasn't in my heart to do it. It just wasn't. You know, I wanted to be a voice for the Buffalo Sabres to an extent. I know there's other channels that do fine jobs out there that represent our team. But I found at the time when I started this channel that there was too much negative crap about our franchise, even outside on our own channels. And that's why I want to bring in some sort of voice of reason. Maybe, just maybe, you know, come out there and start talking about our team. And guys, I can tell you right now that you know, I probably got laughed at years ago when I talked on this channel saying the goal to win the Stanley Cup is the only goal. It's the only goal. It is. Because if I'm going to say I'm going to be happy next year that we get to the third round and lose Game 7, I'm not going to be. I'm just not going to be. I'll be the first one to say what one hell of a run, yeah, but I've seen the one hell of a run seasons, scenarios all my life. You know, I want to see this team break through. I want to see it happen. I'm sick and tired of it not happening. And this year was just another year of it not happening. The truth is, guys, it was going to happen this year. The way we play offensively is there. It's probably there right now. The way we play defensively, we're not even close. We're not even close. And do I think going out and adding on to this team is the answer? No. No, I think learn is the answer. Learn. We're going to have to go and maybe get hurt to really understand that, hey, we can't do this in the playoff series. Or we might not. We might not. Because things can change come playoff time. And teams that are destined to become champions just become champions, you know. And look, I'm looking at this Vegas team thinking, my God, what if they win the Cup? So what if they win the Cup? You know, really, is it that bad Eichel goes and gets a cup? Not really. You know, it's not the end of the world for me. It's not. Now, if it was Leonard, I might lose sleep over it, guys. But I'm thinking about this, and I'm looking at this, and I'm like, you know what's more important is I reach out to you guys than watch this game right now. It doesn't matter tonight. It just doesn't. And it's... Even I might have felt that way even if it was 4-0 Florida. It's kind of been wearing me down this series, guys, that I don't really care. I'm getting to the point I just don't really care much about this. I want this season over with so we can get back on our season and talk about everything, training camp and draft and free agency and all this stuff that's coming around the corner. Because before you know it, guys, you know, this season's done. Someone's hoisted the cup. And the truth is, us as Sabres fans just don't give a damn. One more year. Okay, so they got the cup this year. What do we have to do for us to win it eventually and to maintain success? Because I do believe if the Sabres in the future win a Stanley Cup, we're going to see more than one. I do believe that. In all my heart, guys, I do. And people say, why do you believe something like that? Why? Our history. there's been filled with so much heartache in our history that once we get to the summit, I don't believe we're just going to say, okay, you can have it back now, league. I don't believe we're going to be that type of team. No, I don't think Adams is building that type of team. And I don't think we really have to worry about anything except once we get there, we'll maintain. I'm sure we'll maintain. Now, to what degree, I don't know. Look, if the Chicago Blackhawks can come back from the dead, that was a pretty dead franchise, guys, for quite a while, really. They weren't exactly lighting it up, and they went on. And now Pittsburgh, if you would have told me the Penguins would have 5 Stanley Cups before the Sabres have one, I never would have believed it, guys. So my point of this, okay, is for the naysayers that say that our franchise is going nowhere, it's never going to go anywhere, I just hear we're going to win the Stanley Cup eventually. That's all I hear when I hear that. When I see those idiotic comments online, people saying it's a shit show, that it's a dumb organization, I just hear it's an organization that's due. That's what I hear. That's what I read when I read those notes. When I see people badger us and all this stuff, well, that means we exist. And we're ticking off somebody if they can take cheap shots at us. We're rubbing people the wrong way somehow, some way, and that's fine with me. Whether it be with the whole Jack Eichel fiasco, the way it all ended, making us look like the bad guys and all this and that, oh, please, you know. No, that just means that when I hear people saying, look what the Sabres did, they wouldn't let him have his surgery. No, that's just what I hear. I hear we stood by our principles. That's what I hear. That's the way I approach these things, guys. It just is. It's the way I approach these things. I believe that this team is going to win a Stanley Cup. And when they win the Stanley Cup, I think my channel might blow up a bit. You know, once that happens. But it's okay. That's okay. I prefer it that way. I prefer that, you know, we keep it humble. You know, we keep everything humble till then. I'm fine with that. I just want to see this team break through, and get it done, and the whole league will be rooting for us, I guarantee, when our time comes, you know. And the way I see tonight, we're just a playoff game closer to the Sabres winning the Stanley Cup. That's the way I see it, guys. It just is. You know, it might sound ridiculous to some people, but it's the way I live. It's the way I think. It's the way I breathe when it comes to hockey. I don't believe there's any chance we won't win a Stanley Cup eventually. I believe that's one of the dumbest science fictions out there. That just isn't real. And the reality is that teams that are due break through. Ask the Capitals and ask the Blues and ask the Kings. Teams eventually due to win Stanley Cups, franchises due to win titles, win eventually. They do. Now, how soon will that be? Who knows, guys? It could be 3 years from now. It could be 6. It could be next year. There's no way to know in sports. That's what we all love about sports, guys. We don't know. People say you failed over and over. You Sabres fans, the failure. Well, guys, you know, Michael Jordan missed 9,000 shots in his career. He failed 9,000 times. Isn't he the greatest basketball player ever? I think he is, you know. Mike Bossy hit like, what, 22% shooting? That means he failed 78% of the time. I believe he's the greatest goal scorer ever. Just my thoughts there. You know, failure will always have a massive number than success. That's what makes success so special. And that's why I believe when the boys get it done, what's going to make it so special is how we're going to feel like the odds have been against us. Not just with our history, just with luck in general. You know, it takes a lot of luck to win this championship, and a lot of timing and a lot of everything has to go your way. And eventually, guys, the way I see it, things just got to be paved for us eventually. It doesn't make any other sense to me. There's no way that eventually things can't just go right. Because to me, guys, that's the law of averages. The law of averages dictate the law of averages. Sooner or later, it goes your way. I mean, it doesn't have to be just sports. It could be with a job. It could be, I don't know, you've had bad relationships for the last 30 years. And finally you're in one, it's normal, and you're like, what do I do? Like, it could be just anything in life, right? So I think, the fact that the game is kind of just out of reach there tonight, is it over? No, it's far from over. There's just no way this is over, but it's a mess. Now, going back just to the finals tonight, the Florida Panthers are in a mess. And guys, what can we learn from it as fans? Well, what we learned this year from the Florida Panthers is you just got to get in the playoffs and you can make it to the finals. They're proof of that, right? And if I look at our lineup, no joke, I look at our lineup against the Florida Panthers in a best-of-7 series, right now, I like our odds. Right now. If we were in the finals against Florida, hypothetically, I like our odds with all our young kids. I do. Now imagine when our team gets older. Imagine when that team gets more meaner and bigger and stronger and more mature and more experienced, and I can go on and on. Eventually, this team will change. And if it's not going to change with personnel, guys, it's going to change with age. It's going to change. And sooner or later, the right guy walks into that dressing room, that ignites everything. Could it be Devin Levi? Yeah, it could be. It could be. We're going to know more next year, when the season unfolds. Guys, right around the corner to more Sabres news coming up. I just wanted to throw some thoughts at you because watching a game like tonight makes me realize how just unimportant it is because these guys aren't in it. So really, it's not that important. It's just not. If this was the Sabres tonight, I'd be like, probably be up all night. I wouldn't be able to eat tomorrow, all sorts of stuff, I wouldn't be, I'd be really, really stressing, And the truth is, guys, I look back and I think of 83, 1983, when Brad Park ripped my soul out with that goal in overtime. And because it's what could have been. That was the only time, the only chance that the Scotty Bowman rebuild had a chance to win the Stanley Cup, I thought. Because as it was, years later, looking back, that's what hurt so much about that opportunity. We swept out the Habs. We almost took out the mighty Bruins, who won't be so mighty next year. And they'll be good. Will they be a playoff team? Probably. We'll talk about that in another video. But when Brad Park scored the goal, I thought nothing can hurt this bad ever again. And then I seen Carolina beat us in Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Final in 2006, and I was like, oh my goodness. The opportunity to win the Stanley Cup was on our lap, and injuries took it out of our hands. Guys, if only injuries stopped us, that means we're eventually destined to win a Stanley Cup. It's just what I believe. All right, God bless you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Just wanted to toss up a video for tonight. I will be busy tomorrow. The hell with the hockey world. I'm just going to concentrate on the Sabres tomorrow night. I will be in tomorrow night, and I'll get some videos out to you then. Have a good night till then. And if you're rooting against, if you are rooting against Vegas, they haven't won 4 games yet. They haven't. Things can change. All of a sudden, things can change. And there's no way that this team, this Florida team, is playing up to their capabilities yet. Not yet. See you tomorrow, guys.